Isolation can break a person, especially if that isolation is not by choice. Welcome to Strip Cover Alert, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Ford, and we're here for another poetry discussion video, which will appear in 3 different playlists here on the channel. Number 1 being the poetry discussion playlist, now approaching 800 videos strong. Number 2 being the Robert Frost playlist, and number 3 being the Dark Academia playlist here on the channel. The poem in question today is An Old Man's Winter Night. We will be discussing this from a dark academia viewpoint, and there are some stunning things in this poem, and I went to, and I know this isn't popular, but in the spirit of isolation perhaps, in the spirit of neo-dark academia, I went and consulted ChatGPT, the DALL-E image creator, in order to get a summation picture for this poem. And there is one detail in that picture that will stand stark in the realm of isolation. It is something that will, I think, open your eyes as far as what isolation means, what it means, not necessarily what it does, but what it means. The poem in question reads as such: All out of doors looked darkly in at him through the thin frost, almost in separate stars, that gathers on the pane in empty rooms. What kept his eyes from giving back the gaze was the lamp tilted near them in his hand. What kept him from remembering what it was that brought him to that creaking room was age. He stood with barrels round him at a loss, and having scared the cellar under him in clomping there, he scared it once again in clomping off, and scared the outer night, which has its sounds familiar, like the roar of trees and crack of branches, common things, but nothing so like the beating on a box. A light he was to no one but himself, where now he sat, concerned with he knew what, a quiet light, and then not even that. He consigned to the moon, such as she was, so late arising, to the broken moon, as better than the sun in any case, for such a charge, his snow upon the roof, his icicles along the wall to keep, and slept. The log that shifted with a jolt once in the stove disturbed him, and he shifted, and eased his heavy breathing, but still slept. One man, one aged man, one man can't keep a house, a farm, a countryside, or if he can, it's thus he does it of a winter night. So, the things here that are standing out to me is that we have in this poem 2 entities, not people, but entities. We have the old man, the he in question, and we have the moon. The moon, such as she was, is in contrast to him. The moon is a light for everyone, but he was a light to no one but himself. We have further how he feels about himself. It is his snow upon the roof. They are his icicles. He is cold. He is the coldness, a light to no one but himself. Light and heat the same. The moon represents light here. Can we say that the moon also represents heat here? The heat that comes also from the fire that he seems to be quite distant from. He sleeps through the fire adjusting. This man in this poem is questioning the self. He can't keep a farm, a countryside, a house. He can't do these things by himself. This suggests a longing for something that was. After all, he does have the house, he does have the farm, he does have the countryside. But it is in disrepair. It is not as it once was, which suggests an absence that had not been. This moon, in my opinion, is standing in for the man's wife. It seems to me the man was with and is now without. There is isolation here, and it was not chosen by the old man. The old man is just alone now. Seemingly, we are, I think, left to assume that he is alone through the death of his wife. I think that we are left to assume that because there is still the fire that burns on, but does not come from him. This is a stark scene, but it gets worse. It gets worse. Earlier in the poem, we learn that he stood with what kept him from remembering, that brought him to that creaking room was age. He stood with barrels around him at a loss, and having scared the cellar under him in clomping there, he scared it again in clomping off. He forgot why he was in the cellar. Probably for a midnight snack. Probably because he was hungry. He has forgotten that he was hungry. Hungry for what? Hungry for food in the cellar, but hungry for something more through the poem. He has forgotten his hunger from his stomach. He has forgotten to some extent the hunger for other people. This old man is alone, and we are also left to assume that if he's forgetting that he's hungry, he is not taking very good care of himself. So, as I mentioned before, I took this to an AI and asked for a picture that sort of summarizes the poem. This is it. It's not bad, right? I don't know why there's snow inside the house, but it could be as symbolic as the poem itself. There is an element, one detail in this poem that might already be catching your eye. Something that is perhaps associated with isolation, with loneliness, with being the only you that there is, with being the only person that you can count on. I'll zoom in a little bit just to make it easier. Oh, there we go. You see it a little better now? This here, that looks a lot like a noose. There is no noose in the poem at all. Is this AI, artificial intelligence, telling us something about human nature? Is this AI itself the cumulative intelligence, quote unquote, of basically every text that ever was? ChatGPT has read everything. Is there some element in this poem that suggests a lonely exit? So I wanted to see what the thinking edition. So for anyone who doesn't know, most of these AIs have different configurations. One of them is a thinking model. This is to say that there is some element to it that is not just regurgitation. I asked it for a definition of dark academia. This is what it gave me. Dark academia is a literary aesthetic sensibility that romanticizes intense study and cloistered life. Think candlelit libraries, Latin marginalia, rain-soaked quads, and seminar, I don't think that's legs, and seminar rooms humming with argument. Its themes are scholarly obsession, friendship as conspiracy, moral ambiguity, and the nearness of death. Beauty and decay sit side by side. It prizes classical learning, Greek, Latin, metaphysics, ritual, coats, coffee, recitation, and a stoic, melancholic tone. Narratives often unfold in elite or insular institutions where intellect becomes vocation and sometimes a vice, raising questions about elitism, transgression, and the cost of knowledge. More mood than manifesto, Dark Academia is the romance of the mind under winter light, haunted by what we study and what it makes of us. I think it's a little bit more than that. I think that this aesthetic is not simply an aesthetic. I think that it is meant as something of a phase, and there is a good side to that phase. There is a good outcome of that phase. There is a bad side to that phase. There is a bad outcome to that phase. The good side is that if we can refer to the individual as a hero, we're all the hero of our own story. The hero emerges, transformed by his or her time in the Dark Academia. The downside is that the individual does not emerge. The old man in this poem, seemingly has not emerged, has fallen victim to those proclivities. That is all I have for this poetry discussion. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other literature lovers in the starkest act against Dark Academia that I will commit on this channel. Hitting the subscribe button means that you will be around for more of these videos in the future, and as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.